Do you work a full-time job and are trying to think of a way to add a creative outlet for both personal and professional growth? If you are, you're in the right place. Keep on watching to learn a way that you can start a small business while working full-time, and I'm going to give you a full review of what I believe is the very best photo booth for beginners in the industry. If you're anything like me, then your whole life you've always been doing little side quests, side projects, anything to be creative and to express yourself and as a way to learn and grow. I graduated from college in 2021. I wanted to get into the event industry. So what I started to do is research. I started listening to a lot of podcasts, watching YouTube videos, and any information I could find on the internet regarding getting my foot in the door into the wedding industry. I was listening to a wedding planners podcast where I heard of Photo Booth Supply Co. The wedding planner described it as a business in a box and immediately sparked my interest and made me dive into it a bit more, and that's how I discovered the Salsa photo booth. Maybe you're just looking for a way to make some money on the side of your day job, or you're really looking to invest long-term in a business that is thriving and that can sustain you full-time. Either way, the Salsa booth is a wonderful way to start because it is super intuitive and you don't need years and years of photography skills to produce beautiful quality output. Some things that I love about the Salsa photo booth is that it's easy to set up, you need minimal tools to do so, and the company provides resources for you to use along your way of figuring out all the software and becoming confident before your first event. What that means is not only will they provide you with the photo booth itself, they have a software that's made for the booth. They include a weatherproof hard case with wheels to contain your booth and take it to and from events. And they provide marking materials and sample contracts that you can use to set up your business as soon as you make your order. Next, we're going to dive into an overview of the software. I'm going to click into the Salsa app here. This is a wedding expo event that I did last year, and we're going to use this as our example event. So as you can see, everything is customizable here on the start screen. I got my logo, tap to stars written out, and then this is the options the guests will see when they're ready to use the booth. All you have to do is tap and the timer that you set will start automatically taking those photos or whatever your capture mode is. And once you upload a template, that's what it looks like. When you're in the app and you need to access any of the camera settings, all you have to do from the start position is double tap the top left corner, and that brings you to the admin menu. This is where you can access all of the event info, modes, filters, overlays, etc., etc. Here I am showing you that you can manually adjust all of those camera settings. ISO, exposure time, auto exposure is a no-go for me, so I am always adjusting these at each event. You can tell a big difference in all of these things as I toggle them back and forth. It will really affect your output, and I highly recommend getting comfortable with these before your first event. Here you can see there's filters available. You can either type in a phone number or scan a QR code to get that final photo, and I just love how simple it all is. Next, I'm going to pop on the glam filter. It just smooths down the skin and provides a bit of a brightening effect. After whoever has been using the photo booth takes their photo, types in their number, scans the QR code, however they choose to send it to themselves, all they have to do is tap save to move on or delete to start over, retake if they don't like the picture. And then if we go back into the dashboard, again, that's double tapping the top left corner. We have a couple widgets here. We can look at the data from the event. We can see how many photos have been taken throughout it, how many live gallery shares, total views, so on and so on. You can also send yourself an email with the link to download a zip file of all of the captures. And that is how I have been sending my clients their full files. Now, some of you may be seeing this for the first time and wondering how I got that frame around my two photos. And to get there, all you have to do is tap that little gear icon in the top right corner, navigate to modes, and you're going to tap the little arrow next to photo. Once you do so, you will see template settings. This is also, if you do printing with your booth, this is what the photo strip design would be. And what I did was design it in Canva and then export the PNG file and upload it straight into the app. Now I'm going to show you where I uploaded that overlay. Same thing for this one. I designed the overlay in Canva. I then exported it with a transparent background, still a PNG file, and then came back into the Salsa app and uploaded it there. Back to our camera settings. Hey. Here I'm showing you that you can change the aspect ratio of your photos. And here is the live gallery. The live gallery is where all of those photos are held after they have uploaded in the queue. So basically, once the Wi-Fi or cellular, whatever your connection is good, it's synced, everything will load into that live gallery from the queue and then start sending out the notifications to the users that their photos has been delivered. The live gallery is also where you can see I have uploaded all of my personal branding for my business, and that's applied into everything. So it's really cohesive, really displays the same branding I have across everything on my socials and so on when I'm showcasing at something like a bridal expo. Real quick, I also want to mention you can turn that live gallery off by just toggling that gallery view switch. And then if someone were to click on a link to the gallery, it would say no photos here. That doesn't mean the photos are deleted or you can't access the photos. That just means you have turned off the access to the live gallery. There's also green screen you can do. There are face effects. That's also where that glam filter that I was talking about is held. This is where the AirPrint settings will be. There's also pose tips. I really encourage you to play around with, get really comfortable with before your first event. At this point in my business, starting off 2024, I have 2 salsa booths and 1 guac booth. What's really great about the salsa booth is that it's versatile. Use it as a sharing station. You can use it as a drop-off booth where you go set it up at a venue and come back when the event is over. Or you can use it as an elevated digital booth with external lighting for the very best iPad booth output. Some people do prefer to use other softwares, so if you find one that you like better than Salsa, go for it by all means. Just know that some of the functions are going to be just slightly different, so it might be a little bit more of a learning curve when it comes to all of the settings, but do know that is an option for you. For example, I know some booth owners who use Snappic with the Salsa booth, and I know that they can't adjust the colors and the settings of the LED light around the head of the Salsa booth with that software versus the Salsa Pro, but the other functions like taking photos does work. If you're anything like me, you just want it seamless and as easy as possible, so you might want to go for the software that is built for the booth itself. But again, up to you and for you and your business. My biggest tip for using the Salsa Booth software is to never leave anything on auto. That goes for exposure, for white balance, everything. When it comes to the camera settings, you want to adjust them manually each event to have the best possible output because no venue, no 2 events are exactly the same. My last tip is to use external lighting. If you're going to be offering this as a digital or print booth, the best possible quality is going to be if you have external lighting. And this is another one of those things where you want to look around, see what fits best for your budget and for what you prefer. The main 2 sources of external lighting that I see in the photo booth business these days is LED light wands versus softboxes. Softboxes are what you're going to see for more general photography and studio photography lighting. iPad booths only use the front-facing camera of an iPad to take the photos, boomerangs, and GIFs, so you're going to want all the help you can get to get the best possible output. I wish it didn't feel like it was necessary to buy a bunch of extra things in addition to the photo booth, but it is going to make a huge difference in the photos that you take when you have external lighting versus not. But also keep in mind, you don't necessarily need the external lighting right off the bat. You can have some time to research and see what fits your budget best and what you like the output of best when it comes to LED light wands versus softbox lighting. Another thing that I really love about the Salsa booth is how aesthetically pleasing it is. It is all white with the black accents and it it blends so seamlessly into any environment. It's not clunky. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. They are super easy to put together, super beautiful, and super easy to use. And I love that it comes with a carrying case, so I don't have to go and try to outsource that somewhere else, and it makes it really easy to break down the booth, put it away, and roll it right out of the venue. In general, you don't need any tools to put together or take apart the salsa booth. I do keep a crescent wrench in my toolkit that I take to every event. Just in case it's a little too tight for me to take apart with just my fingers, I can easily just use that wrench to loosen those bolts and get everything put away in a timely manner. Something to note is that this photo booth does not come with an iPad. You do have to do that separately. Best thing that you can do to set yourself up for success is to get an iPad that has cellular access, so you have more confidence in the fact that your images load and be sent quickly to the guests at the event. The Salsa app is on a cloud system, so essentially as soon as you're back in a good spot with good cellular or Wi-Fi connection, everything that's been loading into the queue will load into the gallery and then send out the text messages that haven't been sent yet by the end of your event. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is something that I do on the side of my full-time job and that I also do completely by myself. So that means lugging the equipment, setting everything up is all possible. If you're just by yourself, you can do it too. Next, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to set this booth up by yourself. All you have to do to set these up is get the cords fed through that base plate and feed the cords through the posts. I like tipping them upside down. I find this is easiest to get them into the bottom. But as you can see here, I just flip the post once the cord is to the bottom, and I will do the same thing with the second post, tightening them in between to make sure that things aren't going to be wobbling all over the place. Once that final post has been secured, I make sure that there's some slack there on the cord so it's not super long at the top, and you can either rest it like I do here, or you can even tuck it around the post bolt to make sure it doesn't slip back down through the base, because that's annoying. You have to take it apart again and redo it. It happens. Last part is arguably the most important part. This is the head of the booth. You plug in the cable directly into the bottom of the head, tighten it. This is where the iPad is. Just like the first two posts, we tighten the head once it's placed on there accurately. And then we are off to the races. You can see I go off screen to plug in my cords. I don't want to get electrocuted, so I keep that unplugged until everything is put together. Make sure to tape down or secure those cords to the floor in some way so people aren't tripping over it, and you're all set. It's that simple. Practice, 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 and it will be a breeze for you to set up. In this clip, I am setting up the Atlas stand. This is the stand that Photo Booth Supply Co. offers in their, I believe it's the Essentials. This is the booth package that I got with both of my salsas, and it comes with the backdrop stand and one backdrop as well. I opted to do this because I was going to need those things anyway, and I don't mind the stand. Potentially an unpopular opinion in any groups that you're in with people who own salsa booths or guac booths, you'll see some heated debates about whether the Atlas stand is a good stand or not. Use your own discretion. If you want to end up just getting one straight from PB Backdrops or somewhere else where you'll be getting your backdrops anyway, that might be something that you want to do. The sizing is a little different on the Atlas stand versus the stand from PB Backdrops. So it might seem like a hassle or kind of annoying to you to kind of adjust the sizing of the backdrops you're ordering just to fit this stand. So something to consider. But as you can see, even with the backdrop, I can do everything completely by myself, and everything collapses, folds back down into a case that I can just carry on out of the venue when it's done. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever equipment you choose to use, it is so fun and so cool to get to be paid to hang out with people and celebrate with them at their events. We get to be a part of these people's most exciting and most memorable events in their lives, and we're providing a service that is going to live on for years to come. They will be sharing these photos, whatever content they're taking with the photo booth, on their socials for years to come, or just looking at them to reminisce. It is so cool that we get to be even a small portion of these celebrations, and I absolutely love it. Part-time, full-time, whatever you may choose to do. If you decide to go on this journey of photo boothing and entrepreneurship, it is so much fun, and it's so cool that we get to do this. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Please leave any comments, questions down in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you, and until next time, happy boothing.